Welcome back to the only YouTube channel that I know of that does Olympic lifting and running. So today I'm going to be lifting in my garage. Got some core and calves to warm up. Then we're gonna do some sprints because I train at Tim Riley's gym and I obviously have to be somewhat athletic, and Apex was last weekend, so it inspired me to sprint. And then we're gonna do the Olympic lifts, squats, RDLs, and then I have a progression run afterwards. So I'm gonna knock that out before we get started. You're gonna hear it first. These are the best weightlifting shoes ever, the Romoleo 2s. And yes, I said it, even better than the Addy Stars. But I've had them so long and put them through the ringer that I have to glue the soles back on. So you see that I have weights on top of them. I'm gonna move them as they cure for the next couple of days with weights on them. But yes, I think I'm gonna go back to these if they will handle it. They are the OGs and my all-time favorite weightlifting shoe. All right, so I like doing these weighted sit-ups with the weight behind the head. It makes it way harder because you can't swing the weight or adjust it over your center of gravity. So try these out. I think crunches are overrated, or I think crunches are underrated, but it's because people will use their hip flexors or really use momentum. And having your feet pinned down and the weight behind your neck really solves for that. And then I just kind of go close to failure. It's a nice warm up. Simple. I don't have to think about it. Now, I don't have a calf raise machine available to me, so I'm just going to do single leg. Same thing here. They're just simple. Get the stretch, remove any bounce at the bottom, and squeeze at the top. Probably should stop talking so I can count. I think that's 5 or 6. So 6, 7, 8. I don't know, I think that's 13. I'm just gonna go with that. Now, as you notice, my calves are pretty underdeveloped compared to my upper leg. So these are for aesthetics just as much as they are for performance. Now, most people, when they do calf raises, they bounce them. And I think if you're trying to go for like force development or explosive power, yeah, like that's great. Bounce them. But the calf is the most efficient muscle. The ankle joint really does a good job so that our calves don't get exhausted every time we have to walk, sprint, run, etc. So removing the bounce helps me isolate those muscle fibers. And honestly, it just feels good for my ankle warm-up. So I'm trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Now, I just noticed, this is kind of ridiculous. These plates on these like screw-on dumbbells, they're 6 pounds. 6, not 5. And it doesn't even make sense from a kilogram standpoint because it's 2.7 kilograms. I have no idea what this whole contraption weighs, but 6 makes literally no sense. I don't know. Whoever designed it, they don't work out. All right, I'm gonna count this time. All right, one more set. Now, the reason I think like a lot of the ab stuff most people do don't work is just because the abs are like every other muscle. They respond well to going heavy. And like floater kicks, planks if you're strong enough, all of the just like normal like crunches, people are just going through the motions and it causes a lot of fatigue. It makes your abs hurt, but they don't grow just like your legs don't grow because you're running. You need to really focus on going heavy on them. In this setup, a weighted behind the neck crunch is super useful, but cable crunches, heavy planks, like you should be treating it just like you would a bicep curl. And you know, it doesn't have to be more complicated than that. Just push them. All I've got is this yardstick, so I'm gonna measure out 10 yards. I feel like that's a good sprint distance to try right now. And I know there is probably a more effective way, but it just makes the most sense for me to use this yardstick. Uh-oh. It looks like these squares are 15 feet, so that might be super useful. In the future, I don't have to measure them out. Yep. All right, well, that's easy enough. So each of these lines, 5 yards, and I will just go based on that. So 2 of these concrete slabs is 10 yards, and we'll go based on that. All right, the plan is to do 6 of these. I'll probably do the first couple as just like warm-ups, nothing crazy, and then last couple, not all out, but like 90% effort, and we'll see how it goes. I know I don't have like the best shoes for this, but I'm not gonna buy new ones. They're a good training shoe. I really like the Rad V2s. They are good for like general training, like Metcon work, leg day, etc. But they do feel like an athletic shoe as well. Like I can jump in them, and I really like that. I've had like Metcons in the past. The Metcon Frees were probably the closest thing, but they just didn't feel stable. And then Metcons were too stable and heavy. All right, I really don't know what I'm doing with sprinting. I'm just gonna try to stay low. In a previous life, I actually trained youth athletes. So I guess I'm probably over-exaggerating on not knowing. One thing when I did coach youth athletes that a lot of coaches and parents get wrong is not resting enough in between each. We want to produce as much force as possible, and so if we just do back-to-back-to-back sprints, it turns into like sloppy conditioning, and that can be useful, but you're not gonna get the most out of each sprint. When you have, 30 plus kids on a team, it does get tough because you don't want them standing around and fucking with each other for too long. But you do want to rest at least some. So lines can be useful. And yeah, I'm gonna take that same approach today, like 1 to 2 minutes in between, make sure I feel fresh, and go again, number 2. 10 yards does seem a little short. So for my last one, we will do 20 yards. That's it. Sprints are done. Now time for the weightlifting. With snatches today, I'm going to do a 10-minute EMOM. A couple reasons I like EMOMs in the snatch is number one reason is that you get a lot of work done in a specified amount of time. So I work up to something that just feels good. Hoping for like at least 80%, 10 singles. But 2, really get you out of your head. You don't have much time to think in between each rep. So EMOMs are just like a really solid way to just crank out some work. So yeah, I'm hoping for like 80 to 90 kilos, somewhere in that, and I will adjust accordingly during the workout to see. But I won't start until I hit 80. Weird little hack that I do, but I start the timer. That's like 1 minute. That way I don't have to like hit it on any weird seconds. I'm going off 100 that I did for a hang snatch a couple weeks ago at the LACO certification. This is like 80% of my max. We're just gonna feel it out. 9 to go. I can feel myself jumping back. I think I just need to stay over the bar just a little bit longer. I'm strong enough, obviously, to hit this weight. But I think I'm just like shifting, throwing myself back, causing the bar to land forward. So just gotta stay over just a little bit longer and then go. Probably need to do RDLs. Haven't done heavy RDLs in quite some time, which I'm going to put at the end of the session today after squats. Much better. I think I'll do one more here, see how that feels, and then adjust accordingly. It's good. It's a good weight. I obviously wish it moved a little bit faster, but just honing in on that technique now that I'm focusing more and more on weightlifting. So, gotta take it by the day. Which, when you look at the number, 80%, it's pretty solid to hit 10 singles at that weight in the snatch. But, you know, ego is talking and it makes me want to go close to 100. Lazy and just efficient. Captain America weights. Ego is telling me to go heavier, but I think it's better to hit one last clean single. Make it nice, make it look good, rather than pushing it. I'm coming back and hitting that one. Oh, the irony. Good one to finish on. 5 sets of 1 plus 2. I haven't used the Silico belt for Olympic weightlifting. This is way stronger than my 2-pood belt, as well as I have an Eleiko. What's it called? 2-prong belt, and this one stays really tight. And I really like that, but it's hard to get it perfect. 2-pood, I feel like it flexes a little bit more, but this is way more solid. I don't know about you, but jerks make me feel like I just sprinted like 100 yards. Really focusing on in the jerk is that pressing motion. So as soon as I finish my extension on the dip and drive, I'm pressing pretty hard, like with a lot of intention, and that helps. I think before I would I don't know what I was doing, just getting under it, I guess, but the bar, it's much easier, like a push press, to continue the press, and it makes my lockout so much better, and it actually helps my low back and the right position of the jerk. So just honing that, I think it just kind of emerged out of the practice. But yeah, that combined with actually bench pressing just helps me so much. And the bench, it's almost like getting all of the benefits of the pressing without the shoulder problems that come with it. Now, I'm not where I was, so it could just be that it's a reduced load, but yeah. This is probably the prettiest my jerk has ever been in my entire weightlifting career. And I've jerked 145, so So although it is 100, I feel much better about my positioning, technique, all of that. So take it for what it's worth. Also, lemon lime Gatorade, best flavor. I know I'm an old man. Reject modernity, respect tradition. But lemon lime, man, I don't know what it is, it just hits different. The whole goal of these is to just produce as much force as I possibly can. I know that should be like a duh thing, but I think sometimes, including myself, I just get sloppy with light weights because I can just breeze through them. But trying to push into the ground as much as I can. I probably moved those with more force than I did 140 simply because of the speed aspect. So with my drop sets, just trying to have as much intention as if I was going heavier. I'm only gonna do 2 sets of 6 on these RDLs. I'll do like RDL into a shrug, get some traps. But yeah, definitely feeling my back. I don't think I need all that much. So with RDLs, obviously they're a little bit different than deadlifts or a clean deadlift. I really think of it more like a horizontal movement than a vertical. So I'm not trying to like arch my back up or keep it rounded. I'm trying to push my butt back because when I'm in the snatch or the clean, this is where I need to be at the knee. So just getting that stronger where my shins are vertical, well, perpendicular with the ground. So just keeping that bar into me, pushing those hips back, standing up, squeezing, and the shrugs are just to help with that in the clean and the snatch. Alright, that's it on the lifting. Let's get to this progression run. Probably give myself like a few minutes before I start it. See you then. Alright, so I've got a 5-mile progression run. So 1 mile warm up, then 2 moderate, and then 2 strong at the end. There's like this 5-mile loop in my neighborhood that I'm just gonna follow. There is some like elevation change, but
I'll just hold the pace. I'm gonna go by RPE more than pace itself, but who knows, I might look down at my watch and try to hit it hard. So it should feel good. I am a little wiped from that session. It was a long session with everybody gone for the weekend. I could really push it and it was fun, and that was my priority. Now it's just to finish strong with this run. 5 miles done, average pace of a 7:55. Like halfway through my 3rd mile, the middle of my abs were cramping so bad, which just tells me I am not in running shape like I used to be. But it went away like a half mile later. Whew, that was brutal. Probably went a little too fast, but I just need to get the feel for it. My last 2 miles, it was 7:30 and then a 7:18 to finish, which is pretty strong. I predict my 5K pace would be about a 7:30. So I think I'm a little spot on that, assuming I had enough rest and didn't hit a huge session before it. But it was good. If you enjoyed the video, what is it, like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next one.